Welcome to Sunset Hotline, Ion Technology. Got another very special video here, this time with my buddy Jesse. What's up, man?
What's happening?
And he's here to talk about a very weird system, shell. So let's take a look. All right, Jesse, so let's check out this weirdo system that you brought.
Okay. This is what ended up after the end of Atari and the Jaguar. Atari had gone out of business, and the company JTC Holdings was releasing all of the assets for Atari, and one of them was the Atari Jaguar's mold. And at the time, Imagin Systems, who is a dental company out of the Bay Area, had another camera system with a very similar style shell, but it was a lot bigger. And the person at the factory said, "Hey, we've got this mold that looks very similar to what we have for you now, but it's cooler looking. Are you interested and you want to check it out?" And Steve, the owner, said, "Sure, I'll check it out." And so what happened was Steve liked the shell design. They did some retooling on the mold. He purchased it from Atari back in 1997 for something like $2,000, just under $2,000 for all of that. And so the camera system that he had developed at that time, he then fit it into the Jaguar shell that we see here. Now this is a full top and bottom shell. It's got a custom base in here. And see this right here is the interface for the AV, the audio and video. And this goes out to a camera printer. This is the inputs for the actual cameras that go in your mouth to take the pictures.
Right.
And so at the time he was developing a memory card that would go into this game slot. But this is a different type of a slot. It's a custom slot for a memory card that was going to be designed for it. And it was so that you could take the pictures, take the memory card out, and put it in your computer. This is pre-USB.
What year was this?
1997.
Well,
But I'm sure it was out.
USB was out, but
It was still pretty early and basic.
sure. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So it's got some controls on the front here.
Yeah, these controls right here are for when you're looking at a tooth. There's a freeze button. There's another button that brings a arrow to the screen so you can point at a certain part of the tooth. Plus then there's another button that changes the color so that it can show different aspects of the tooth, like it reverses in negative.
Oh, okay, right.
So that it changes the color and it highlights, imperfections in the tooth. So those were those.
That's awesome. So I worked in IT around this time, and we installed a camera system for dentist's office called Dentrix.
Yeah.
And every time I go to the dentist, I like to just bring that up and act like I know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
And they're all like, "Oh, I remember Dentrix."
Yeah, that's an old. Yeah, it's still around.
But so this was this a competitor?
Yes. Because again, this is still in the analog sense, so it literally outputs a video signal through this port.
Yeah, which looks like a serial port of some kind.
Yeah, and there's a docking base that this whole unit slides into, and the idea was that you could take this unit and use it in multiple rooms.
Oh, sure.
Instead of having to buy multiple cameras, you would just have the one unit, and all of the rooms would have the mount, so that you can put it on there.
And that there's why they failed.
What?
That there is why they failed.
No, but what happened was USB came out, and these became irrelevant.
Okay, because I remember the Dentrix systems that I used would hook up to a computer. I think it probably was like USB or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember the hookup, but it was a little camera system, and that was back on like Windows it would have been Windows 98,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. So basically, this system was basically became old.
Crazy.
Once USB
Yeah.
was becoming a thing and cameras were
Yeah.
on a USB port, there was no need for this unit here. Because with this unit, you would need an external printer so they can print your tooth, and then it would go to an analog monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot more involved with these old analog cameras, but now with USB and the new digital cameras, it only lasted about 2 or 3 years, and only about 7 of these units made it out, and only a few of them made it back. And this is one of the few.
So the shell itself, was there any other major differences between the Jaguar? I mean, like clearly
top shell?
the disc is gone. There's no top cover that would flip up or anything, but
Well, technically, the CD-ROM or the toilet could fit here. It still has
Yeah.
the little...
I see that. It's like they...
Yeah, it's still there. And this top shell is actually unmodified, the top portion.
Okay.
The one part that was modified is the bottom. So you can see that there's feet.
Yeah, demo unit not for sale.
This was called the hot rod.
The hot rod. Yeah, it's got some nice sturdy feet
So
on there.
these feet right here are especially designed to fit in the wall mount, so it would hold it in place.
Oh, yeah,
So it's got a little bit of a...
right.
Yeah. So modification-wise, the bottom shell is the one that was heavily modified. They cut out the back.
Yeah.
There's different mounts for the custom
Okay.
brackets. That are
Sure.
there. But as far as like the screw holes are the same as the regular Jaguar. And the top shell, you could put it on a standard Jaguar and it would fit.
Wow.
Which is what a lot of people did
Cool.
afterwards, because there were a lot of these shells available for sale.
Wow, that's awesome. So the shell, it's basically an Atari Jaguar shell, and we all kind of know about a system that never really happened. It had some controversy behind it.
The Chameleon by ColecoVision.
Yeah, ColecoVision somehow got their name tangled up. It's a long story, right?
Not really familiar with the story too much, other than someone else decided that they wanted to take the shell and create an actual gaming console, kind of like Coleco,
Right.
but for ColecoVision.
Yeah, and have it be a return to cartridges. It wasn't going to be disc-based either.
Yes. So that person did purchase the molds from Steve, the owner of Imagin Systems, and I guess since then they have sold the molds to Atari Age.
Okay.
So Atari Age is, it's from what I understand, Atari Age is preserving the mold
Which is great.
for the Jaguar.
Yeah, that's good.
And along with that was the mold for the CD-ROM,
Oh yeah.
and I believe it's the mold for the cartridges, which is how people are able to have custom cartridges that
I
you
see.
see all over the place.
Yeah.
Originally, Imagin had those.
Cool.
The only mold that Imagin didn't get that was not part of the sale was the controllers.
Okay.
Someone else had the molds to the controllers,
Yeah.
or had purchased it.
Well, that's really cool. Man, thanks for bringing that thing. Appreciate looking at it. It's a weird piece of history in a weird way. It's like, I mean, you don't see too many like people purchase an NES shell and develop some weird hospital piece of equipment out of it. And here it is, the Jaguar in some bizarro like afterlife, incarnation. It's sort of horrifying. It's sort of a perfect Halloween thing, It's like the Frankenstein of the old gaming relics. Well, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you coming by, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Of course, until next time, you know what you're gonna do. You're gonna keep that shit retro by hanging out with Imagin and getting your teeth cleaned later on.